Good morning, silver and gold stackers. Today we're going over what do I hate about silver and gold. So it's been over a year that I've been stockpiling this kind of stuff right here, right here. So what have I hated about this whole process, my whole stockpile? Mainly, I gotta be honest, it's probably gotta do with the pricing, guys. The pricing. So you guys know that we got into silver and gold for a forced savings account. Yes, I am a natural spender, and I do love to stockpile, which probably helps my spending habits. I'm able to spend spend on stuff that I'll be able to use for the future. And some people call it stockpiling, some people call it hoarding. But I love to stockpile. I love to spend money on stuff. And this has honestly filled my itch to spend money on stuff that hasn't lost its value, right? But I gotta be honest, the price is wild, guys. So since we've been buying silver and gold, the price has been skyrocketing week after week. And lately, in the past couple months, it's been dropping, going up, dropping week after week. So it's not really that stable. For the purposes of what we're stockpiling it for, is silver and gold still doing what it's supposed to do according to my stockpiling plan? Yes, it is. Honestly, it is. It's still retained its value more than what it's supposed to. And even if we bought silver at its highest at 121 and it's lost 40 bucks right now, that's honestly it's still good. It's still good enough for us to say that we have retained some value in it. Now, why don't I like it then? Why don't I like the prices? It's because I want it to be, when you stockpile something, you want to have a plan, right? There's plans that you want to have, there's goals that you want to have, and it's hard when the price is up 20 bucks, down 20 bucks, up 20 bucks. Now the end goal is still the same, right? To accumulate it. So no matter what the price is, we're going to get it, which will accumulate more ounces, more weight at the end. But it's just the price. That's probably the only thing. Yeah, I think that's the only thing about silver that I do not like is the price swings. I would like it to be more stable to the point where I could put it on the calendar and I'll be like, all right, 20 ounces this month, 20 ounces, 20 ounces, 20 ounces, like that kind of thing. Instead of 20 ounces, 10 ounces, 7 ounces, 10 ounces, 6 ounces. The price swings so much. Even if you spend the same amount of money every paycheck, you could get different ounces back. That's how much it's swinging right now. It's swinging so much. And I always hear people, since I started stockpiling silver, I've heard people say this over and over again. Paying is just, it's not how it is. What you're going through right now, that's not how silver's supposed to be. It only happened those 2 years and blah 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 blah. It's man, it's going, guys. It's been happening week after week. Everything y'all been telling me it's not supposed to do, it's been doing. It's been doing the do, and that is kind of what leads me to make this video. That's one thing that I do not like about silver. Now to get into 90%, sheesh. So 90% is kind of like a buy it cheap, stack it deep kind of item because you could get 90% for way back a spot. Way back a spot is what I've been doing, and since my journey started, I made some plans, and I figured to pretty much buy the cheapest, whatever the cheapest is I could get at the time, and it's been 90% for a long time. That's why I'm 90% heavy. Now the liquidation factor of the 90%, I know a lot of people made videos of that. It's That's another thing I don't like. I do not like um, that about silver. Is that silver's fault? Is it 90%'s fault? Like Fish said that 90% fail us. Honestly, I don't think 90% failed us. I think, okay, this is why I'm saying this, because I'm coming from the 2A community, right? there was a thing, the Armageddon, right? During COVID, you know, a lot of people in the U.S. weren't prepared, blah, blah, blah. Everybody had the demand went up for freedom seeds. Therefore, the manufacturers couldn't make it fast enough. And the only way for them to catch up was for a lot of companies to pop up out of the woodwork, you know, entrepreneurs doing their thing and making their own companies to help fill this demand, right? And it still took about like 3 years for Freedom Seas to regulate like the pricing. It's not below COVID pricing, but of course, with inflation and everything, it's steady though. It's right now. I can honestly say that the price of Freedom Seas are stable. Now, silver. The reason why I don't think 90% failed us is because it's kind of the same concept. The refineries are kind of like they're lacking. They're behind the times. You know, obviously when demand comes, they're not able to fulfill it. So we don't either one, we don't have enough refineries, or two, we have the refiners that we need are not focusing on this stuff. They're focusing on other stuff, refining other stuff for other purposes. So there's probably haven't been a lot of new companies populating that are now refiners, right? That being, I don't think the demand is there yet. To be honest, when I saw the demand in the Freedom Seas during COVID, it was totally different. Like everybody and their mama was buying it. With silver, I always hear people say, you know, this month there's gonna be a lot of demand. Oh, this date there's gonna be a lot of demand. Wait till this date is gonna be a lot of demand. I've seen those dates come and go, and I have not seen the demand yet. And what does that mean? That means if I go to work and ain't nobody else talking about it or thinking about it but me, it's the demand is not there yet. And that's what I'm talking about, the difference between the 2A and this silver thing right now. Because in the 2A, everybody was talking about it like, oh, Freedom Seeds. They didn't call it that, but you know what I'm talking about. Here in silver, nobody really knows about it like that. It's even with this major swings, people don't know. They're just oblivious. You know, it's not, the demand is not there. I could say the demand is not there. So that's why I think that 90% probably hasn't failed us. I think it's just because the refiner is going to take a little bit longer to do all this, because there's not enough demand for companies to be for entrepreneurs to want to build their own company around this kind of stuff. And that's probably why it's gonna keep going slower. It's gonna take a long time. I think it's gonna get better, but it probably won't be for maybe a couple years. You never know, because once they get good, a lot of people might dump again. You never know, because they're waiting. They're like, oh, I don't want to dump right now because I'm gonna get this much back. So once they're up and running, some people might dump just because they want to. You know what I mean? And it might start the whole process again. You never know. So that's one thing. That's the silver part. Now the gold. What don't I like about gold? And if you guys know and been watching my channel, I stack the frac. I'm heavy stacking the frac. I love it. Why do I love to stack the frac? Because that peer-to-peer sell with those smaller amounts of gold, a smaller weight, is easier. So what don't I like? What do I hate about gold? Honestly, you probably already know. So if I love to stack the frac, then it's probably the opposite, the bigger pieces. Why is that? Because yes, I do think that silver and gold will continue to rise in price in the future towards the time where I'm going to retire, which is still a ways away. Now, if it ever gets to that point where gold hits that 10G spot, not even 10Gs, imagine if they lower it, because you know, you got some greedy people out here, right? Everybody's like, oh, if gold goes to 10,000, every ounce that you spend, you have to report. But knowing these guys are so greedy, they're probably gonna move that down to 5 grand. Honestly, like, just like that's what common sense tells me. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna move it up. They're probably move it up to 20 grand because gold's worth more now. Common sense tell me them boys is greedy, and they gonna be like, every 5 grand you spend, oh, gonna tax them. Tax them. Report that. And that's just I don't know. That's like my common sense thinking. It's not always green. It's not always green. And that's what I don't like about gold. It's it's a lot. It's worth a lot of money, to the point where other forms of people are involved in the transaction that you wouldn't want involved. So that's why I like to stack the frac, and that's what I don't like about gold is just that the other people that are involved in the situation where you don't want it to be involved. You just want it peer to peer. That's why I like the frac. So that's kind of my little gripes and what I do or what I don't like about silver and gold. For my first year, right? My first year stockpiling silver and gold. That's kind of what I don't like, and I'm running out of time. I wish I could talk longer, but thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys on that next one. Tune in to see and hear me say what I do love about silver and gold, and why I will continue to stockpile this until I retire. I say halt. Thanks everybody again for watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Later. Stay strapped. Keep that stockpile growing. And if y'all working at a job that could get you some OT, buckle up and get some. I say halt.